Hi, my name is Matilde Yilmaz. I work as an artist and designer, and I'm currently still studying at the Gerrit Rietveld Academie at the designLAB department. I work mostly with textiles, which I'm also showing in this exhibition.
So, as a starting question, what first drew you to working with textiles?
I think I really enjoy the relationship people have with textiles, including myself. I think I find textile very special because it's something we are all kind of in dialogue with every day, touching it, sleeping in it, and we all have so much knowledge about it that is kind of not spoken.
Yeah.
And also I think we're very much unaware of it, which I find to be something magical. So I think that's what initially drew me to textile, and from there I've been experimenting with different techniques, and yeah, it's also I think connected to my family heritage where there is a lot of women working with textile.
Yeah. And also, when you describe your relationship with textiles as intimate, and the pieces that you have for this collection were from your grandma's dowry. So like, what was it like when you first received your grandma's dowry, and like knowing these pieces carry so much memory and care?
Yeah, so the pieces I'm showing are not from the dowry, it's
really?
inspired by. It's all.
Yeah.
So I haven't used her textiles to make these works. I've looked at her work and used her patterns and used techniques she used to create something new, from the idea that I want this knowledge to continue living in a way, but then also for it to be in my own way.
Yeah.
So when I received my grandma's dowry about a year after she died, and it was connected with also a lot of works that my aunt had made for her own dowries. And it was very special for me because it was works that I'd never, some of them I had seen, but I'd never been aware that it was something she had made. And yeah, there's like tablecloths that she had spent 4 years making. It was very special to me because it's also from a time that I wasn't alive yet, so it's this whole life that you're kind of holding years over time that was just kept in closets for such a long time. So that really, made it very interesting for me.
Yeah, and also really special.
Yeah, for sure, yes.
And also there's, the sheets and the futons from your grandma's dowry.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously carry traces of ritual and protection, just like how you said. So how do you kind of work with those objects in your art while still kind of honoring their story? But more so maybe inspiration, because obviously these are not the same pieces from the dowry.
Yeah, so I looked very much at the dowry as like kind of trying to read it or to find that, like look at it as different forms of knowledge. Because growing up, I have memories of, I wouldn't say we made fun of my grandma, but I would always like make her write her name, knowing that she couldn't write, and be like, ha ha ha, I'm 5 years old and I can already write my name, but my grandma can't. And then I found these like mostly embroidered bedding, and there's so much precision in there, and it's also mathematical, and it shows so much knowledge from her that I've never like literally experienced directly from her.
It never got translated, I guess.
No,
Yeah.
And I think it deserves to get more space. And I was hesitating for a long time about whether I should bring her work into a space such as this, but in the end I decided not to, because I don't think that it's a choice I should make.
Yeah.
But I do have the ability to look at her work and learn from it and practice what she did as well, and also create it in my own way, because I don't know, I also started researching in what is this dowry and why was it made, and a lot of the reasons why it's made is things I'd rather not have for myself. So there is this doubleness of seeing so much beauty in there, but it's also connected to a history that's sometimes quite violent towards women.
Yeah.
And I think especially if you look at like research dowries in Dutch or in English, you get such horror stories.
No, for sure, yeah.
Which are all like very much also part of the story, but it's not. I don't want that negativity or the negative connotation around it to completely wash out this beauty and this heritage. So therefore I decided to, use it as a source of knowledge to create something new.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah. Cool. And you mentioned that your grandma couldn't read or write. So what were, but her craft obviously spoke a silent language full of meaning. So how do you interpret and carry that language in your own work?
I think that's something I'm still figuring out.
Yeah.
I started off with making a lot of drawings, and I really liked kind of, especially with lace works, because they're very movable, so they're in some way very geometrical and have these very strict patterns, but the way you drape them also creates complete new patterns. So I've been doing a lot of drawing where I kind of look at the shape, like the negative space inside of them, and look at the textures. And from there I started translating these drawings. So for example, the red work I made is like a layered drawing over drawing over drawing that I scanned and made into something new, and then I had a machine embroider it, which it's also, I had this thing like, what does it mean if I let a machine do this work that I'm talking about, which is so much about the time you spend to it, and is this relation then still as intimate, because I have not spent time with the textile. To be honest, I really like the results, but for me it feels completely different. For example, the white one I did do by hand.
Yeah, and also cross stitch, which is like a little different.
They're both cross stitch actually.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
No, that's completely but one of them is done by hand. And for me, I like that you can see that my stitches are not that neat, and I think it gives a lot more texture and
depth to it.
Yeah, they both have their own values, I guess.
Yeah, and well, when it comes to tradition and also in the context of dowry, do you see your textiles as like preserving what was passed down, or reinterpreting it, or also maybe blending both of them?
I'm not sure if it's preserving, and I think also I have a hard time with this with tradition, because often if you think about tradition, it's about kind of redoing something in order for it to continue living in a sense. But I think for something to be alive, also it should have the space to change. So yes, I'm not creating traditional bed sheets, and I'm not preparing them for my future home in that sense. But I think that still using this heritage in a way can, for me at least, I can't speak for anyone else, give life to it in a sense. And it's, I think, mostly the act of it. I don't, in that sense, care so much about the result yet.
So it's almost like just blending both of them, so also like preserving them, but then also reinterpreting it with your own style. And also kind of just building onto that, how do you find your own voice in that space between inheritance and then reinvention?
How do I find my own voice? Yeah, well, I think because my grandmother is no longer there, and I do have a lot of family members who can tell me a lot about it, but so far I've been hesitant to directly ask them questions, because I think I really enjoy having the relationship with the textile directly, which gives me a lot of space for interpretation, and also finding things that I have memories of that I wasn't even aware of. Like the wooden sticks that are on each work, I found them on one of her pieces, and I was like, oh, I used to always have them sewn into my clothes as like tokens of protection. And then from that thing that I found, I could start asking family members again, and it's kind of this circle of like me having this space to kind of finding things that intrigue me or that I find magical or that tell me a story, and then I can go into further research about, but what did they actually mean, and what will they mean for